be back in a minute, I'm kidding, I'm in it to win it. These casuals, they ain't gon' get it, cause I'm on a mission. Just listen, these bars that I'm spitting, I'll light a cigar when I'm sipping. It's jar when I'm winning, a star how I'm living. A car that is tinted, so far from my limits. You think it's a fiction, but now I'm addicted. You won't catch me slipping, this life I be living. If I do it, she finish, she want it, she get it. She like when I hit it, she never forget it. We living like royalty, she come with loyalty. That shit is rare, but she never want more than me. Making that money is funny, we stacking them honeys. Just doing the things that we wanted, cause passion is purpose. I know that it's worth it, I do what I love and the cash is converting. I hate all the haters, but they do me favors. If only they knew that their comments make paper. They gone like they vapor, this beats from my neighbor. The bass is so loud that their house is in danger. My eyes on the prize and my passion don't lie. If I want it, I get it, my vibration high. Yeah, I live till I die and I'll do it just right. Do you like how the plaques on my walls hit the lights? And I'm just a white boy, yeah, I get it, but fuck it, I like rap, so I spit it. Yeah, I'm just a white boy with some rhythm. This beat in my system, I made it, no kidding. That shit it be hidden, keep stacking my winnings again and again, like I'm making commission. This life's an addiction, addicted to winning. Each day got me grinning, yeah, straight from beginning. Yeah, I get what I want, I get what I see. I picture my life and how it's gonna be. Yeah, I get what I want, I get what I need. I know that I'm right where I'm destined to be. Yeah, I get what I want, I get what I see. I picture my life and how it's gonna be. Yeah, I get what I want, I get what I need. I know that I'm right where I'm destined to be. Yeah, I live what I'm dreaming, I think it, believe it. I get what I want and I get when I need it. I'm ready to work and I'm here to receive it. And I'll be the first to be grateful, believe it. I know what I want and I know that I'll get it. Set my intentions and never forget them, cause my greatest weapon is always direction. I give it attention, then I'm gonna get it. It's not how they see it, that's only perception. Be back in a minute, I'm kidding, I'm in it to win it. These casuals, they ain't gon' get it, cause I'm on a mission. Just listen, these bars that I'm spitting, I'll light a cigar when I'm sipping. It's jar when I'm winning, a star how I'm living. A car that is tinted, so far from my limits. You think it's a fiction, but now I'm addicted. You won't catch me slipping, this life I be living. If I do it, she finish, she want it, she get it. She like when I hit it, she never forget it. We living like royalty, she come with loyalty. That shit is rare, but she never want more than me. Making that money is funny, we stacking them honeys. Just doing the things that we wanted, cause passion is purpose. I know that it's worth it, I do what I love and the cash is converting. I hate all the haters, but they do me favors. If only they knew that their comments make paper. They gone like they vapor, this beats from my neighbor. The bass is so loud that their house is in danger. My eyes on the prize and my passion don't lie. If I want it, I get it, my vibration high. Yeah, I live till I die and I'll do it just right. Do you like how the plaques on my walls hit the lights? And I'm just a white boy, yeah, I get it, but fuck it, I like rap, so I spit it. Yeah, I'm just a white boy with some rhythm. This beat in my system, I made it, no kidding. That shit it be hidden, keep stacking my winnings again and again, like I'm making commission. This life's an addiction, addicted to winning. Each day got me grinning, yeah, straight from beginning. Yeah, I get what I want, I get what I see. I picture my life and how it's gonna be. Yeah, I get what I want, I get what I need. I know that I'm right where I'm destined to be. Yeah, I get what I want, I get what I see. I picture my life and how it's gonna be. Yeah, I get what I want, I get what I need. I know that I'm right where I'm destined to be. Yeah, I live what I'm dreaming, I think it, believe it. I get what I want and I get when I need it. I'm ready to work and I'm here to receive it. And I'll be the first to be grateful, believe it. I know what I want and I know that I'll get it. Set my intentions and never forget them, cause my greatest weapon is always direction. I give it attention, then I'm gonna get it. It's not how they see it, that's only perception. Be back in a minute, I'm kidding, I'm in it to win it. These casuals, they ain't gon' get it, cause I'm on a mission. Just listen, these bars that I'm spitting, I'll light a cigar when I'm sipping. It's jar when I'm winning, a star how I'm living. A car that is tinted, so far from my limits. You think it's a fiction, but now I'm addicted. You won't catch me slipping, this life I be living. If I do it, she finish, she want it, she get it. She like when I hit it, she never forget it. We living like royalty, she come with loyalty. That shit is rare, but she never want more than me. Making that money is funny, we stacking them honeys. Just doing the things that we wanted, cause passion is purpose. I know that it's worth it, I do what I love and the cash is converting. I hate all the haters, but but they do me favors. If only they knew that their comments make paper. They gone like they favor this beats from my neighbor. The bass is so loud that their house is in danger. My eyes on the prize and my passion don't lie. If I want it, I get it, my vibration high. Yeah, I live till I die and I'll do it just right. Do you like how the plaques on my walls hit the lights? And I'm just a white boy, yeah, I get it, but fuck it, I like rap, so I spit it. Yeah, I'm just a white boy with some rhythm. This beat in my system, I made it, no kidding. That shit it be hidden, keep stacking my winnings again and again, like I'm making commission. This life's an addiction, addicted to winning. Each day got me grinning, yeah, straight from beginning. Yeah, I get what I want, I get what I see. I picture my life and how it's gonna be. Yeah, I get what I want, I get what I need. I know that I'm right where I'm destined to be. Yeah, I get what I want, I get what I see. I picture my life and how it's gonna be. Yeah, I get what I want, I get what I need. I know that I'm right where I'm destined to be. Yeah, I live what I'm dreaming, I think it, believe it. I get what I want and I get when I need it. I'm ready to work and I'm here to receive it. And I'll be the first to be grateful, believe it. I know what I want and I know that I'll get it. Set my intentions and never forget them, cause my greatest weapon is always direction. I give it attention, then I'm gonna get it. It's not how they see it, that's only perception. I'll be back in a minute, I'm kidding, I'm in it to win it. These casuals, they ain't gon' get it, cause I'm on a mission. Just listen, these bars that I'm spitting, I'll light a cigar when I'm sipping. It's jar when I'm winning, a star how I'm living. A car that is tinted, so far from my limits. You think it's a fiction, but now I'm addicted. You won't catch me slipping, this life I be living. If I do it, she finish, she want it, she get it. She like when I hit it, she never forget it. We living like royalty, she come with loyalty. That shit is rare, but she never want more than me. Making that money is funny, we stacking them honeys. Just doing the things that we wanted, cause passion is purpose. I know that it's worth it, I do what I love and the cash is converting. I hate all the haters, but they do me favors. If only they knew that their comments make paper. They gone like they favor this beats from my neighbor. The bass is so loud that their house is in danger. My eyes on the prize and my passion don't lie. If I want it, I get it, my vibration high. Yeah, I live till I die and I'll do it just right. Do you like how the plaques on my walls hit the lights? And I'm just a white boy, yeah, I get it, but fuck it, I like rap, so I...
Hello everybody and welcome to Waylander Gaming. This is Waylander here with Lotus as we present to you the IESF WEC 2025. It's the Mobile Legends group stages. Tonight, or today rather, I'm saying night, right? Because it's like all different times everywhere in the world. And sometimes when we were looking at the live chat, especially yesterday, I don't know who I was talking to, from what region and space and time they were from. But here in South Africa, it's just midday, just past lunchtime or into the lunchtime period. It's going to be Iran versus the Republic of South Africa in a very important clash for both teams, but very specifically for South Africa. Had a little bit of a rough time yesterday up against Turkey, but I mean, that was to be expected. That was just basically Aurora Gaming right there. As one of the best teams and players in the world. It was quite something to actually witness that level of play. But Lotus, what do you think is going to be happening here? South Africa up against Iran. I know we've got fingers crossed here for the boys to bring home the W.
Definitely, and I do think that they'll be playing better than yesterday, because yesterday they were against the monsters of some of the monsters of the group. So it was somewhat a bit of a, I think that might happen. I hope it's not going to happen, but I think it might happen. But here I think we can at least see some way better performance coming out from the side of both teams, especially now because they have experience from playing against some of the monsters in the group.
Yes, exactly. Also, at the same time, right, South Africa, a lot of the players here, except for Super Shady, who's been here before. He was part of the IESF team, or the MSSA team, shall we say, for last year, who has that experience being on stage on the spotlight, because the spotlight is a literal spotlight. I don't know if you've seen the feed, Lotus, where it's they've got you all on the stage and the presenters in front and there is an actual spotlight on you. There's a lot of pressure that you have to handle and deal with when you're on that platform.
True, because we've even witnessed it with some of our gamers in our tournaments, online tournaments. you see them playing scrims and they do amazing. Then they come onto tournaments and now they're on stream. Now they panic and they have stage fright. Now it's even a higher level here because now you're, like you said, under an actual spotlight.
Yeah, but it's a learning experience overall. South Africa is fairly new to the, well, or at least let me say it like this: South African Mobile Legends is fairly new to this, like, the professional scene. We've had a Mobile Legends community in South Africa for the longest period of time, actually since the game started, but never really had any focus on getting players to compete on this level. And so it's only been over the last few years since the mssa stepped in and introduced Mobile Legends into their roster of games and then brought the community in with them. So we're highly appreciative of all the work that they've been doing. The president and vice president, which would be Colin and Johan, and actually allowing us to, you know how much of work they did in the background here to actually get us to stream the games, to showcase what South Africa can do on the world stage. It's very exciting, and sometimes, and you'll even notice this when we're doing a bit of the casting, right? I kind of get a little bit breathless because you're seeing some of the players and some of the names that you've been watching on in the M series, in the MPL, and you're like, oh my goodness, they're here. It's very, very exciting to be part of this. And hopefully in the future, as we'll watch South Africa grow, because you know how South Africa is, we'll start off at one position, and then because the people are so talented, I mean, the lineup that we have here: Super Light, Lindo, Juju, Super Shady, Velocity, these are some extremely talented individuals. It's just experience that they require, and this is going to just take them over the edge, make them even better players than they currently are.
That is true, and with them getting the experience, there's also some of their fans here in South Africa that are also learning a lot from the experience. Also, when we were talking about the spotlight and then some of these big names, I'm actually a little bit jealous of these players from our South African team because now they can get to play against our heroes, which is something a lot of the community members mentioned.
Yes, that's true. I was just looking at the group chats over the last few days, and there was a lot of excitement for, especially next year as well, because we'll be streaming the qualifiers, mssa qualifiers for Mobile Legends, and therefore we'll have those forms released, and a lot of people can now compete and try and book your space. But I don't know, the lineup that they have here on screen is a bit of a star-studded lineup, or at least what we can see on screen for South Africa. If you're going to be competing, whose space are you going to take? We've got some very, very talented players in here. But the server overall, I would say in this last year, has improved quite significantly.
That is true, and you learn so much during the entire time. With the tournaments having been more frequent throughout the year, players get to see themselves, they get to see the mistakes they make, and they all started to focus more on micro because only you focus on the micro, and focus only on me getting MVP. Once you get into the tournaments, it's more about the overall winning. So then the players want to focus on macro, and the more they do that, the better they always get.
Yes. As we were discussing in the previous matches, for instance, right, we'll take South Africa versus Turkey game number 1. As we were talking about on stream and partly off stream as well, we were saying to ourselves that, look, whenever it comes to the drafting plays such a massive role, not just in terms of having picks and counter picks, but it also determines a large portion of how rotations work. For instance, if you're looking at South Africa versus Turkey, game 1, as I mentioned, Turkey picking up the Gatto and Fanny, and it's Gatto with Revitalize. So the moment you see those two heroes and the spell Revitalize, you realize, okay, there's going to be a very early jungle invade coming on. If not a full-on jungle invade, then definitely a jungle invade around that red buff, the teddy bear next to the red buff. You know that teddy bears are highly sought after. It's like a collectible. Everybody's after that little teddy bear there to add it to their collection. So you know that particular invade is on the way. So then the question you have to ask yourself is, based on the composition that we have on our side, what should we be doing? Should we contest for that little small camp? Is it worth it? Do we have the heroes with the abilities to actually sustain through and then turn that invade around on them, or do we go for a little different style of play? Personally, with the composition that South Africa had, I would have preferred if the team went for a buff to buff rotation, as in start red, go blue, leave the small camp there. I just use your mid lane and roam to cause enough of a distraction to delay the Fanny and the Gatto getting across, and it was a Kadita as well, just from getting across past the mid lane. Just a little bit of a delay, and then it allows you, in this case, it was the Hayabusa, to go for the counter jungle. And then you can pick up a couple of Fanny's small creeps and then get across to safety. Comfortably level 4. Did not lose much, or even maybe, depending on how fast you could have got that clear, gained a little bit in terms of gold. That would have been what I would have been thinking just based on the draft. But, as we said, everything here is a learning experience for the South African teams. I'm sure when they come back, they'll be talking about their experiences to everybody. And hopefully we will start implementing these different macro plays that we have noticed the pro teams using to our advantage, and the server will then improve in terms of quality.
That is definitely true. Like you said, Mobile Legends is always about learning. No matter what you do, you just continuously learn from the game. I think that's also why it's a good thing with the matches always being so short in comparison to games like Dota or League of Legends. It's very shorter, so more fast-paced. You have to think very quicker, and the more quicker you think, the quicker you also have to start learning to think quicker, and that it just compounds, and then your learning compounds.
Well, when it comes to Mobile Legends, one of the things that does keep this game very fresh and exciting is the fact that the development team at Moonton are always throwing out curveballs to everybody. I mean, just when you think you understand the meta and you're like, oh, I know what's happening here, I know what's going on, they switch it up, and it doesn't seem like anything major. It'll just be a buff to a certain hero or a nerf to another, and then automatically it changes the way the game works. For instance, right, we have seen on the pro scene Hilda being picked up with reasonable frequency. And then suddenly when you're looking at seasons gone by, if you picked up Hilda on the roam, people would be like, well, what are you doing? Why Hilda? Don't you need to have some sort of set potential? But that's little change in terms of how the roam works. It brought the hero that was once dead, once not used so much, into the forefront. So they always keep things nice and fresh and exciting by doing all of these things. And so I, for one, personally am very happy that they do that. It also means that since the meta changes, your learning, as you stated, is constant. But there are certain things in how a MOBA works, specifically a MOBA like Mobile Legends, which are set macros. As we head into this game, since we're dealing with an XP laner, a lot of our focus is going to be, especially within the first 2 minutes, is going to be heavily focused on the XP lane, because those rotations coming through from the XP lane, they determine a large part of how the game is going to work. You'll notice this in the games that we featured earlier, even the match that I did early this morning. I'm saying early this morning, right? If you're from another region, then I'm sorry, I'm not sure what time it was, wherever you are, but in South Africa, it was like 4 a.m. So the match that I did, which was South Africa up against Argentina, the XP laner from Argentina was always on point, and you notice the moment that XP laner cleared lane and made the rotation, all of a sudden the team got very aggressive, because you've got the number advantage. You've got that extra player in the mix. And then it's not just about clearing lane, it's where to clear the lane. Are you going to cut the lane? Where are you going to cut the lane? When should you cut the lane? There's this timing and decision making. So a lot of how the team plays and what they do within that first 2 minutes of the game relies heavily on that XP lane rotation ability. So our eyes are going to be on that at the start, because you're going to have to firstly do it yourself and also defend against it when it's going to happen to you. So it's quite a bit of a balance that's going to be happening there. But anyway, with that being said, we are heading into the drafting phase. And let me just get our drafting phase up and running for all of you, as we will be starting game number 1 in a best of 3. South Africa up against Iran. Iran with the first picks, first bans coming out.
So, like we mentioned before, that drafting is actually very important. You always like to say drafting counts as almost 70 or 75% of the match itself when it comes to victory or loss.
Yes, and CC being the auto ban followed by Barsha, which means we should see a Lunox ban coming through very shortly, and possibly an Esmeralda as well, because it's the typical bans that we've been seeing in the WEC so far.
True, and Esmeralda is not a hero I really expected to see come through the entire time, but she's been a menace whenever she was picked.
Agreed. CC doesn't get to feature much. How many games have we seen with the CC in it?
I think so far from all the ones I've seen, I've only seen her once or twice.
Yes. I mean, South Africa let the CC get into the mix in the second game against Turkey, and CC was the MVP of that matchup.
So definitely learned that lesson. Do not allow CC to come through again. But it seems like Iran wanted to take her out first because in the hand of any team can be very lethal.
Exactly. This Gatto ban here is... I mean, Gatto has been one of the most commonly picked heroes in this entire matchup, in the entire series so far. It's such an important thing to try and get him either picked or out of the way. Though Iran deciding to remove the Gatto, even with having the first pick, I wonder what the thought process was there.
True, fair enough. But we also know that the side of Team RSA likes those team fight compositions, so Garagacha is very easy to just combine with those drafts. So taking him out could mean that they also might want to go for maybe a pick-off or something that they can engage with without having to worry about a Garagacha catching them all together.
Fight for the ultimate
Yeah,
team is picking.
that's true. So maybe they're going to go for a little bit of backline setup here. Though the Iranian server, which is there in the Middle East, it's very similar to what we see in North Africa. So the North African server and Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, they have a very similar play style and meta, which is very different from ours. But, leaving Lancelot open, I was looking at the last ban from South Africa. It was a Hilda ban, and I can understand why, because there's been so much of pressure that's been placed onto Lindo, the South African jungler, that they want to provide a certain degree of protection for him, right? And so getting rid of that Hilda is maybe one of the better options. But then that left Lancelot and YSS open. But in terms of the matchup here, you'd prefer a Lance into a YSS than a YSS into a Lance.
That is true, because even with that nerf that came in for the YSS, some people say it didn't have that big of an effect on him, but you can see that he struggles a bit more in the team fights, and he also has a bit of that nerf when it came to his CC immunity. Just made things so much more difficult for YSS, and he couldn't play as aggressive as usually.
Agreed. With the remainder of the picks, however, we've got Lapu Lapu being introduced into the equation. So that's going to be a bit of backline disruptability. That's what Lapu excels at, because he has that CC immunity as he goes through the phases of his ultimate bravest fighter. He can get into the backline and force them away. It makes the backline even further into the back, because you're going to have to run away from that damage output that he deals. And he's so tanky, very, very difficult to kill.
True, and seeing that even an Angela was not banned, could be seeing an Angela here, which would be deadly with either the Lancelot or the Lapu Lapu. But you don't really want to see her used on the Lapu Lapu like we mentioned yesterday.
Yes, exactly. There's what we were just talking about. It's going to be one of those mages that has to position into the backline, which is why they got rid of the Yuzong, which is why they got rid of the picks that they have, and especially knowing that Gatto was removed from the equation for them, so South Africa decided to go with something that's going to outrange. It's the way you're going to try to bait out the brilliance from Lunox, because Lunox, can play super aggressively. I mean, the damage output from a Lunox is next level. So the aggression is definitely there to be had, especially if you have the brilliance form on cooldown. So you know that I can play aggressively and I can get out. It's kind of like Lilia with the black shoes.
True, and that's actually why you said you need to be able to bait it out. The fight getting picked up with a Lancelot in the enemy team, it's gonna be a bit difficult for her because if she's not under a turret or something throwing out the feathered airstrike, the Lancelot can easily come from behind, especially with looking at the mechanical skills coming out from the Iranian team.
Exactly. We've seen some excellent plays from Lancelot, especially the ones from Iran, as we saw yesterday against the ladies team. That Lancelot was on fire. Oh my goodness. But South Africa banning out the Hylos. Hylos with that glorious pathway. It just creates that a lot of movement speed so that you can engage on someone very, very quickly. I mean, as they retreat, as they want to back off, that glorious pathway comes across and causes a bunch of chaos. Nice ban from Iran with the Esmeralda ban. Esmeralda's been very strong in this tournament so far. Is one of those heroes that has an incredible degree of sustain. And so goes in there and disrupts. So that's sort of I wouldn't say a counter, but in terms of team composition, does or fulfills a similar role to Lapu Lapu, a disruptor. And the same can be said about Phoveus. So the side of Iran, they're looking at this and they're like, okay, what is South Africa really missing? They've got some set potential coming through from Kalia. You've got the burst factor and wave clear from Fasa. You've got the vision and ability to secure objectives and burst down the backline in the form of YSS. What do they need? Well, they're going to need a disruptor, and they're going to need somebody to maybe sustain alongside, because I'm thinking that Super Shady is going to be going for a fighter on the gold lane. Maybe, potentially, or decides that he wants to lock onto the Granger.
Well, seeing that I think the big major fighters are all taken out throughout the bans, with the side of Team SA going for the Granger, he at least does have the distance to be able to deal with the Lapu Lapu and even the Lunox. Because one thing about Lunox is her range isn't as long as some of the other mages, so he can be a bit more comfortable around her, I think.
Yes. The Death Sonata is one of those OP skills that... I mean, if you're looking at Team South Africa, this next pick coming through is going to be massively important, because as you were mentioning about the range, right? You've got the Death Sonata and the Feathered Airstrike. These skills have a high degree of range, so when they engage in the team fights, you're going to expect to have a hero with a high degree of sustain like a Uranus to go in and disrupt. So you're going to disrupt the front line, try to get towards the back line and do what you need to do, because there's going to be a huge distance between your disruptor and the backline, and so you're going to need somebody to provide a certain degree of protection, and that's when your Kalia is going to come in. So Kalia is not going to be acting as an initiator, unless of course the moment comes around where there's the potential to pick off somebody, but Kalia is going to have to be playing in that half space in between the frontliner, which is Uranus, and the backline, which is going to be the Granger and the Fasa, in order to provide that certain degree of protection. But this is what makes the final pick coming through from the side of Iran so fantastic. It's the Cho pick. We're going to be seeing some flicker away of the dragons in here. It's all about getting somebody to be able to target the Fasa. And that Cho pick is just simply designed for that. Because especially if you're comfortable playing Cho, you're going to use that second skill immunity. You're going to get close into that Fasa. The moment you cancel that skill of hers, it's going to be GG's. But anyway, let's head into this game. Excuse me. It is the first game in this best of 3. Welcome to the stream, everybody. It is Iran up against South Africa. We hope that the South African team can pull something off here, as Cho is doing. Oh, it's going to be Cho on the roam position here. I actually thought they might have put it in a gold lane, but they left the ruby there across. So it's Cho and Lunox up against the Kalia and Fasa in this early part of the game. I will say South Africa do have that certain degree of sustainability thanks to the Kalia in the early part.
And that is also what might help them, because as we saw through all of South Africa's games, they struggled mostly in the early game because they didn't have enough to be able to sustain the damage coming out from the enemy teams. So the more sustain they have in the early game, the better chances they have to survive through to the late game.
Exactly. The Litho contest went the way of South Africa, so a little bit of an extra start there, a couple of bits of gold, also a little bit of vision there being supplied by the Litho. Faso was used to try to get that engagement. Oh, Kalia with a nice setup onto the Lunox, but the turnaround is there as they're trying to go in for the engagement. Oh, the Thorn Rose comes out so fast from Kayasa. I mean, look at the speed. He was busy juggling, and then he's just like, oh, you want to fight in the mid lane. Manages to get the setup.
The wave management coming out from the Lunox was actually very well done, because she just kept pulling in the minions into her turret. Dilatizi just overextended a little bit too much. He almost got the Lunox, but then, like you said, Lancelot's a KFC and went for it.
Oh, nice play from South Africa. This is the rotation we were talking about. Super light here. Beautiful movement from him. He manages to get the setup as he rotates across. And this is going to be no mid laner as we're heading into turtle time now. So Cho on his lonesome trying to cause the distraction. Lapu is in the mix here. Lapu does have that level 4. Uranus not quite yet, but there's a feathered airstrike. Lancelot has to try to disengage. He's going to get chased down, but he's using the punctures so nicely. Phantom execution. However, oh, this engagement is just continuing. They're trying to chase faster down. They take down 2. So as they were trying to engage into this Lancelot, it's like the backline was open. Iran goes straight in. There's the way of the dragon onto Kalia. They're trying to dish out the damage. Kalia tries to turn around, but does manage to. Granger, super shady with the beautiful rotation into the mix. But oh, the knockup is onto 2. Can they take down the Uranus? He's so tanky. Ruby with that rotation across there as well. Oh, the Thorn Rose comes in, but Fasa is back into the mix. This is so much of violence here at this moment in time. I don't know which direction to look. It's like players are being picked off left, right, and center.
I mean, everyone, even from the bottom lane, the Ruby and the Granger, all rotated just to be able to get to this turtle. And the fight did not go the way I expected, because first moment, South Africa had the upper hand, and then the Lancelot came in, started doing the pickups. So once again, the engagement here onto the Cho. It seems like he's going to get taken down here by Lindo. So the airstrike once again into the mix right now, but it seems like the Lancelot still wants to be able to escape using the Phantom execution.
Yeah, it's Lapu. All the skills have been used, but look at Lapu. He's just focusing down onto the jungler. He's getting a killing spree. Ruby with the quick rotations across. Lance is in the mix here. Who's going to secure the objective? It's going to be Lancelot, and they take down a couple as well. So it's 8-3 in the favor of Iran right now. They've got a 2k gold lead at this, heading into the 4th minute mark. Will we start to see the jungle invades happening? They know they've got the advantage. There we go. This is what we expected. The moment you take the jungler down, and this is what the power of a lance is, but he's going to have to try to escape. The feathered airstrike being used to zone away. So South Africa with a nice defense coming through. But you knew that jungle invade was about to happen.
Obviously, because it was the Lancelot, he just got the turtle, had a numbers advantage. The invade was somewhat of a given right now, but my eyes were more on the engagement there in the bottom lane. The Kalea and the Granger onto the Ruby almost managed to take her down, but it's a lot of action coming out from the side of both teams this afternoon.
Exactly. It's a Ruby. It's not so easy to take down a Ruby. She's got so much to sustain, especially when there's a lot of minions close by. But there's the Cho into the mix. It's the flicker away of the dragon. What a pick-off coming through here from Iran. The feathered airstrike has been baited out. So without that major nuking skill, will we see Iran decide to go in a little bit aggressively into the jungle here? But once more, you're going to see Cho. He's just causing so much of chaos. Can he get out, though? He's taking a lot of damage. Oh, the armor fended comes through from Ruby, setting up the kill. Cho with the distraction and, like the name suggests, gets to run away.
That was actually insane. And even the Uranus just popping out the flicker to be able to get to the Cho, unfortunately locking himself out between the Ruby, and the damage coming out from the side of this Lancelot just going into the backline and not giving Farsa really any space to breathe.
Yeah, the timing of engagement from Iran and their targeting skills has been very much on point. They know who they want to go up against. They know whose job it is to take out what in this team fight. Their draft was done very, very carefully. Cho is there specifically to try to deal with the Fasa and the Granger, because he's going to be able to. They realized that you've got that huge range in between the front line and the back line, and you're going to need somebody to try to displace that back line, either force them further away or drag them closer into the mix. And that's what Cho does. That Way of the Dragon is one of the ultimate displacement skills.
Which is actually pretty insane, because he also works a bit with the suppression with the Way of the Dragon. But once again, I'm offended here on the bottom lane, but he's once again not allowed to escape for a major engagement starts from the side of Iran. Make sure to take out the Kaleo.
Yeah, that was a very nice pickoff in there. They layered the skills so beautifully. Once more, Cho is into the mix. Fasa just dancing around now, throws out the feathered airstrike. Used to zone that Cho away, but he's got his items. Oh, but Lancelot, he's going to try to use a phantom execution on point. Takes down the Fasa, and this is going to be mid lane turret map now, completely open. Cho doing what Cho does best, which is, recall and emote. If you're a Cho player and you don't do that, I don't know what you're playing.
Well, that now explains why I always thought, why do Cho specifically do that? Because they're the most annoying heroes that you can get, especially if they're good players. And then they also want to rub the salt into your wounds. But Tsunami Slam coming here on Cho right now, but he managed to flicker out. Engagement coming out from the Lapu Lapu. Bravest fighter into the wells. The feathered airstrike, but mega kill once again going on to Belatizi.
Yeah. Oh, the arm offended comes through from Ruby. Sets up onto the Fasa. I mean, Super Light, being a Uranus, was going to escape this, but oh my goodness. That was crazy. Lindo hoping to try to maybe contest for his blue buff, but with this map presence that they have, the side of Iran, it's so difficult to contest for anything. Super Shady trying to do the best he can. Oh, look at this armor bandit coming through. Ruby has been setting up those kills. The timing of this engagement between the Ruby and the Lunox has been on point. Oh, the bravest fighter. Almost that great sword landing to the head of Fasa there, who had to cancel that feathered airstrike. Lancelot just goes in onto the bot lane, and with this, I think we should see a holy shield being popped. Velocity just stopping that, knowing that they don't have the positional advantage. Super Shady on the run. He's flickering and trying to get to safety. He's like, wow, but this is going to be a dramatic game of hide and seek. Are they going to find me? Lapu's checking this out. It's so close. Oh my goodness. Oh, I thought he was going to escape. It was just like a millisecond.
That was actually insane, but Lapu actually managed to stop him just in time, knowing which bush to go to. But that would have been one of the greatest escapes coming out from the South African team, with Shady managing to elude the Ruby and the Cho, but got caught up by the Lapu.
Agreed. Oh, it would have been a very dramatic, very deadly game of hide and seek. Lindo trying to keep those lanes unevenly pushed, but you've got to be very careful. That engagement from the Lapu has been on point. He's, as you can see, he's committing the bravest fighter, trying to go in, wants to bait out the skills. So it's going to be the feathered airstrike that's come out already, but the damage is going to be there. Nice tanking coming through from Uranus on the Super Light, allowing Super Shady there to get a pick-off kill, raining in those Jet Sonatas. So numbers advantage to the side of South Africa. However, no feathered airstrike available as the Lord is barreling down the mid, but at least the lanes are not synced up. So this is going to give them the opportunity to try to defend. They want to try to find the space to get the turret lock on, but nothing is doing. South Africa is using those long-range nukes that they have just to kite and keep that mid lane turret safe.
Oh, but once again, the I'm offended going onto the Uranus, just capture him out once again, feathered airstrike into the mix as well. Almost managed to one, but he doesn't fall just yet. And Juju making sure to just get out just in time. But that was a 2-for-0 exchange. The side of South Africa didn't really have the damage. We wave the dragon once again onto Shady. But he managed to get the kill onto him, Linda falling as well.
Yeah, and oh my goodness, there's a chase here onto Fasa. She takes so much damage, but manages to get back to safety once more. But the base has been cracked open. The first inhibitor is down. They're trying to focus onto the second one, but the feathered airstrike is in there just to keep everybody zoned away. So it's all hands to the pump right now for South Africa in terms of the defense. Can they do this? Because the longer this game goes on, the more South Africa will come into the forefront. They just need to mount this defense. They need to try and push this game towards the 15, 16-minute mark. The gold lead is quite significant at this point in time. Oh my goodness, it's a killing spree for the Lancelot, but the Tsunami Slam is brought into the mix here as Uranus gets the shutdown kill. The chase is on. It's going to be Lapu just trying to deal with a 1v4 situation, but South Africa getting those pickoffs in there. We have the Dragon does come out, but there's a shutdown kill coming through from the Cho. It's going to be Ruby throwing out those armor fenders, and that control with Lunox just staying perfectly in the backline, dishing out the damage. It's a 3-for-2 exchange overall, and that's going to be another inhibitor.
It seems like they're also might be able to take down the top lane, but South Africa managed to defend in time. But with the side of Team Iran making sure to take out the Farsa first before anyone else, she doesn't have that zoning capability to just shoo them away, so they can go in for the other backline and take down Super Light. So the side of Team SA will really have to start protecting this Farsa.
Yeah, Farsa is going to be one of the win conditions going forward. You need to start prioritizing your farm. Interestingly enough, Granger has picked up the Sky Piercer. I think it might be time to get that Sky Piercer sold. Oh, there's Cho with the disruption. There's going to, the Feathered Airstrike comes in, but Lapu just times that so well with the disengagement. Now the chase is on as it's going to be the full 5-man from the side of Iran going across. I think South Africa, they shouldn't have went in for any even close to a bit of an engagement, because you know that the moment they take the Lord, they're going to come in. They've got, there's the armor fended onto 2. It's godlike for the Ruby. They're going to push this down. It's only 1 left alive. It's Super Light. The base is wide open. The lockdown is in here, and that's first blood the way of Iran.
Well played to Iran when it comes to this first match, because seriously making sure to take down who they need to, going in for the pickoffs first of the Kalea, and once Farsa started to become a problem, so I knew who to focus on. And like you said, when the side of Team RSA went in for that engagement, it was a bit of a mistake because they didn't really have the farm or the level to be able to contest for it. So it would have actually been better to wait for the defense and keep all of their numbers safe.
Exactly. Like it was Mongolia up against Uzbekistan earlier today, where I was watching the matchup like very, very early in the morning, where with Uzbekistan was quite far behind in terms of what was happening in the matchup. They also, like similar to South Africa, were not as big of a gold gap though, right? It was about 3 or 4k gold gap, and they lost one of the inhibitors, and they pulled the game back up against Mongolia simply by giving up the first, I think it was first 3 lords. They were like, there's no way we're going to be dealing with this. But understanding their draft timing was so important. Like, South Africa's draft timing was very, very much late game. If you think about it, we were playing a double MM strat. You've got an MM in the gold lane, and you've got an MM in the jungle. You've also got Farsa, who does take a little bit of time to come online with that the massive damage output. Granted, she is effective from level 4, but with the disruption that was coming out from Iran, it was difficult for Farsa to be able to reach full potential. She's going to have to get those items to be able to burst very, very quickly and from range. So we had that late game composition. It was just to be a little bit patient, and I think just by poking their faces into the jungle around that second lord, that was where the game really, really went downhill. Because the moment they were done with the lord, you could see the complete rush play. They went in with the Cho, everybody used their skills on the Cho, and now you've got no skills available. And the rest of the backline, the damage dealers, Lapu with that insane disruption is just heading straight in there. And what are you going to do? We lost 4 in that engagement.
And then with that came down the game. That's why you always put so much emphasis when it came to decision making, especially when it came to the major objectives of the game. And you also said when it comes to objectives like this, you need to learn how to not sacrifice, but rather make trades, especially when it comes to the farm and the objective.
Agreed. Trading is the name of the game in Mobile Legends. It's has been and always will be. You're going to have to sacrifice something in one direction to get something in another, and it's always a question of who's going to get the better trade-off. It determines a lot of how you rotate, how you position what you want to do. But with the way Moonton has introduced these patches recently. The first 2 minutes of this game is critical. It's no longer vital, it's critical to how you're going to be playing. And the first 2 minutes for South Africa was reasonably decent up until that moment in time around the first turtle. So we're heading toward the edge of that 2-minute mark. That's where things got a bit crazy because Fasa was in a lovely position. Fasa set up that first kill for South Africa, and then the distance between where the XP laner was and where Fasa was, there needed to be a little bit of protection provided for that Fasa. You could see that the entire of Iran, they just went hard focused the Fasa. Fasa was just like sitting duck there, and they're like, oh, here's your feathered airstrike, we're coming for you. And they just dived in, and then now suddenly the whole disruption happened. The backline, which was left unprotected, was now just dissolved literally around that 2-minute mark. And that's where things began to change and swing a little bit in the favor of Iran.
Especially with that continuous rotations coming out from the Ruby. She was way more sustainable. The Granger had the upper hand when it came to the lane control, and then could just continue giving that numbers advantage. You were talking earlier about the XP laners doing that, but with the gold laner doing that as well, it's if there's a 3-man rotation coming out from the side of South Africa, there was a 5-man rotation coming out from the side of Iran.
Exactly. It's been the theme up against the South African teams when it comes to those macro rotations. It seems that whichever team we're up against has the ability to just throw in that extra number of player into the mix that makes life a little bit difficult for us in terms of their rotations. Because, I mean, if you look at it, right, these, especially Iran, right, I'm so surprised that they did so well. Both them and the Iranian ladies, the way they play, very much like the MENA style of play, quite enjoyable to watch. But they always seem to have an understanding of when to go and how to move together as a unit. They are, as I expected, a very, very strong team.
True, and what's the most amazing thing to watch is continuously the Lancelot.
Yeah, the Lance plays have been awesome, especially from these Middle Eastern countries. But we're into the drafting phase, and we're getting to see the typical CC ban. But interestingly enough, Iran deciding to ban out the Kimi. I think they have done their homework on the way South Africa play, and they do know that South Africa do like to pick up the Kimi Grok combination, which is one of those very deadly mid lane combos.
And also because you have a Kimi into the mix, she can be a fixed pick either into the mid lane or gold lane, preferably the mid lane. But if you also have the Kimi, she gives that gold laner, which means you can put a fighter into the gold lane.
Exactly. And having a fighter in the gold lane right now it's Snowball City. It allows you to place a lot of pressure in the enemy jungle, and then, as I said, Snowball City from there. It's like we're going to be bringing home that first 5 minutes of the game. Because the game is designed right now to finish within 12 to 14 minutes. If you can get a snowball within the first 5, I mean, you're just setting up. And then from there, it just switches to a more disciplined performance.
Let them play the hero.
That is true. But looking at the bans right now, the side of South Africa makes sure to get the Yuzong out of the way. And also, Lucian getting banned out. I'm wondering if they're going to go for some more tanky heroes, maybe a Hylos this time.
Potentially, but I mean, Grok is still available, and Grok is one of those heroes. When they are available, I would strongly recommend picking it up. The same can be said for, I mean, there's still YSS and Lance, though I don't think you'd want to go for them too early of a pick, unless, of course, it is the Lance pick. We're going to see the last ban coming through from Iran here with Runaway. Are they going to be able to ban out the Lance, or are they thinking of something else along that line? Because there's quite a few meta picks still available. They decide to get rid of the Fanny. This ban strategy from the side of Iran is throwing me a little bit for a loop here, because I'm questioning what is it they're planning on picking up.
But we also do see that auto pick coming out from the Grok, like you mentioned earlier. I think the Grok will work in the side of South Africa's favor, especially if it can combine with a CC mage or a CC fighter. preferably both, which can work especially well against South Africa's playstyle, which we mentioned earlier is centered around teamfight.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But Super Light deciding to go for that, as we said, the Grok pick first up, right? It's a pretty strong pick. It's a prio pick, I would say. And the same can be said for Gatto. I mean, this is just these two picks coming through from the side of Iran, the Lancelot and the Gatto. Will we see Gatto just keep rocking that vengeance, or as we've seen most of the teams run through with that the revitalize in the early game? Because then if you pick a strong mage in the early game, it's going to allow for a lot of early game jungle invades, which means that South Africa might have to go a little bit tanky in the jungle.
Seems to be a bit of the way to go right now, especially if they want to contest for any of the objectives. And if you think about how aggressive the side of Iran can be, you have to be able to sustain that aggression.
Exactly. And I mean, both junglers sticking towards the similar sort of jungle that they had Lindo going for that YSS pick. Having that Mountain Shocker, at least the first phase, is hugely beneficial in terms of vision. Kayasa, as we've seen on the Lancelot's been absolutely on point, and I mean, if it ain't broken, why fix it? And Ender going for that Lapu Lapu as well, so they have a very similar draft to the first game. Again, the Lapu Lapu is there just to target this Eve. The moment she hits that real world manipulation, you're going to expect Lapu and the Gatto to be diving in onto that Fasa. So the Fasa, the Eve, onto the Fasa, onto the Eve. The Eve pick is not exactly what I would have went for, simply because of the amount of disruption that's going to be available. But I do agree very much with this Lunox ban. Lunox was melting. The positioning there from the Lunox player from Iran was on point. The damage output throughout the course of the match was crazy.
True, but of an Eve, don't you think someone a bit more like a Zetian would be able to work better? Because then even if the Gacha, the Lancelot, or the Lapu Lapu engages onto her, she still has the passive to just move them out of the way.
Yeah, true. But it's I wouldn't say it was the best pick overall, but let's get to see what the final ban is going to be for the side of South Africa. Interestingly enough, Iran did manage this time to ban out the Alice. Alice is one of those heroes that when it's been picked up has been absolutely devastating.
True, also because some people seem to use her in a bit of an initiator sometimes, and then the follow-up. But then she would also be paired up with someone with a lot of CC, just making it almost impossible for the enemy teams to be able to escape.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's what Alice is there for, right? She's got like this long-range initiation. I mean, she's going to throw out a skill and be able to jump into the mix in just a heartbeat. So Alice is definitely one of those heroes that you don't want to be up against. The same can be said for the Esmeralda. It looks like we're going to be seeing the fighter on the gold lane once more. And South Africa do have the carry pick, right? The carry pick is there, but the question is, are you going to have the defense to keep carry safe? What are you going to be going for on the XP lane if you're going to try to keep carry safe? Because then you're going to go for the double strat again. Which is why I think picking up the YSS this early may not have been the best of options. Because YSS is strong, we know that he is a strong hero. But is it really strong to be a prio pick within the first three? Or at least in this case for South Africa, the second pick?
Honestly, I would say no, because once again, now you have two marksmen, like you mentioned. I think Granger is better than Carry because he deals damage way earlier and has longer range. A Carry takes forever to get that Trinity bolt, and then she'll also have to be able to escape from the Gacha, the Lapu Lapu, and the Esmeralda all at the same time, trying to get the farm. And with the aggression coming out from the side of Iran, trying to get the Carry up and running would have taken a very long time.
When you look at this, right, where's your damage going to come from? This is why carry would have been necessary, because carry is going to, at least when she gets her ultimate going, has the true damage to burst down to a certain degree. But where's your damage going to come from? Early game for South Africa. Eve is not known for damage. Eve is known for your poke ability. then you've got two MMs here in the form of YSS and Granger. They both need items to come online. You've got Grok with a fantastic ability to get the sets going. Terizla, haven't seen in a very while because he's a bit of a low mobility XP laner. So the question now is like, how are you going to get your Terizla into the game? He can be used there to disrupt a lot of the skills coming through, but and set very nicely when it gets to team fights. But how are you going to get the farm to get those team fights? Where's the damage going to come from in that first 2 minutes? South Africa are going to have to, if they're using this composition and this style of play, they are going to have to leave certain of the neutral objectives, because you're just not going to have the ability to contest for it.
That is true. So it's all gonna be about how South Africa plays this match right now, because drafting phase has been done, can't really fix it right now. So they have to fight to their best of their ability and know which trades to make.
Yeah. A lot's going to come down to this mid lane battle that we see here, and the rotations that are going to come through from the XP lane. And can Terizla get on point to rotate a little bit faster than the Lapo? This is a nice play coming through here from Lucian, using the Fasta's ability just to throw out a couple of nukes and allow Lapo to, here's the space. Now we can actually create the angle for Lapo to take a bit of farm, get a little bit stronger, and then rotate across. This time around, Kayasa is the one who secures that neutral objective in terms of the litho. But Lucian using this Fasta to its maximum capabilities here. The mobility is fantastic. Oh, nicely done here by Velocity with the setup. However, Gatto lands the taunt, just keeping Fasta safe. But Fasta once more using that bird form just to get into position. They're trying to place a lot of pressure here onto the Terizla. The stuns, the nuke comes out as they force Terizla back underneath the turret. They just want to try and keep him low, not let him get the level 4. Penalty zone is one of those massive, major team fight skills in terms of being able to secure neutral objectives like the first turtle.
That is true. So and also with those rotations that come out from XP laners, the Varsa continuously rotating to the bottom lane. She's making sure to not give Terizla the breathing space, but super cutting coming here from the Esmeralda and Lancelot in the top lane.
Yeah. Nice positioning here from Fasta as well. She throws out a couple of pokes. This is the thing with the when you have an Esme. Esme cleared lane, managed to get level 4. Fasta with a feathered airstrike, just zoning away. There's first blood onto the Eve. Fasta using that range, and this now sets up the first turtle of the game for Iran. Fasta frontlining here. It's got that bird form, but and just flying around here, teasing Velocity on that Grok, where it's going to be first turtle the way of Iran. As expected, South Africa didn't really go for the contest. That was the wise and correct decision to make. You know you've got the double MM. You're going to have to be a little bit safe. Nice block here from Grok as they managed to get the turnaround. Mountain Chaka comes in. Avatar of Guardian slightly off point as South Africa managed to get a beautiful disengage. However, the quick fingers of Kayasa secured that. Was it Kayasa who got the blue buff? No, Grok got the blue buff.
Well done to Grok, making sure not to let in too much farm going into the onslaught right now. But the engagement and pressure is still continuing here by the Gacha. Just trying to keep the pressure here onto South Africa. It makes things once again difficult, but it seems like they're handling it way better this match.
Exactly. You're using the double MM strat, slow the game down. Just be a little bit patient. Poke damage here onto the Esme. She's charging up to dive into, potentially what could have happened in the mid lane. Grok just providing that little bit of vision and safety, like a sort of a safety valve here for Grange to be able to get back to safety if it was necessary. But this mid lane battle here, because of the Gatto and the range coming through, especially from the Fasa, is firmly in the hands of Iran at this moment in time. This will not always be the case. South Africa, apart from the fact that they've got a late game composition, will have to wait very patiently. Oh, look at that! Tectonic charges in the mix, as it's going to be the real world manipulation coming out, but somehow Philip has managed to survive it all.
Well, I mean, it is an Esmeralda. Even without too much defense items, she's still very tanky. But Guardian going in for a turret dive. Gonna miss a match here, but the engagement still continuing onto him right now. And the side of South Africa are don't want to commit too much. Like you said, they have to slow the game down. They have to play safer.
Yeah, but look at the distraction created by Iran. They're using the fact that South Africa are sticking very close by to one another to just open up the map. And now the jungle invades are never going to cease as YSS is being engaged upon. However, Terizla into the mix here, trying to sustain to all of this. Manages to get a setup. Flicker back from Super Light as he's sustaining. Oh, but the Feathered Air stuck into the mix. Just manages to get him down. Grok a little bit slow there with the... with the charge there to disrupt that Fasa's feathered airstrike. I mean, just a second earlier could have kept the Terizla alive. But meanwhile, Granger with the rotation across to the XP lane is just trying to farm up, knowing that at least if you get one of your MMs online, it's going to be a good... Because right now with the mid lane opened up, it's going to be so difficult for YSS to get farm.
Definitely, especially because he's not really any fighter, so he can't sustain anything that comes up from the side of Iran. He'll have to go for trying to farm around the side lanes, make sure to avoid the landslide and get the necessary farm, and might even have to sacrifice some of the neutral objectives more than they want to.
Agreed. It'll be okay as long as they keep their tier 2 and most of the inhibitor turrets up and running. Maybe get a pick off here and there. Lapo into the mix here with the bravest fighter, manages to get onto the Granger. Well, we see the knockdown. Yes, we do. However, it's a 1-for-1 exchange, but it's onto Super Shady, who he didn't really want. However, there's Lancelot with the punctures dancing around. The Phantom execution comes out as he manages to secure another kill onto that Fasa. I mean, they're hard targeting the mage here for the side of South Africa. Juju's not getting a chance to breathe in both these matches.
That is true, and the Eve is someone that you actually want to focus on because she has the best range throughout the entire team. But once again, engagement coming out here onto the Terizla right now. He isn't really getting much breathing space. It's very difficult for South Africa because they didn't even really get the chance to farm because the pressure is continuously put onto them instead of Iran focusing on the other objective.
Yeah, Lance now is in a bit of danger. Went in, stuck around too long. Almost took down Super Shady. However, managed to secure that kill at South Africa and defend the tier 2 turret. That pick-off like that is what they need. They don't really need to contest for these neutral objectives. Just take your farm. Make sure that you can protect your turrets to the best of your ability. Don't overset up. Because, I mean, right now they're trading a tier 2 turret for a turtle. I mean, in terms of gold trade, that's not a good one.
Yeah, I will actually have to agree with you here. Tectonic charge into the mix once again, but the Farsa finally managing to get down. Unfortunately, Shady falls down as well. Turtle goes into the side of Team RSA, but Esmeralda here once again onto Linda right now. He's going to be able to escape. Oh, but he does. Power Guardian to him right now. Esmeralda managing to get the kill finally, and Terizla once again left here all on his own.
Yeah, he's tanky and he can sustain through most of this. So again, it's like you almost lost a tier 2 turret. You may have taken the turtle, but then you lost 2 players that went with it. Like we were saying in the pre-drafting phase of the stream. It's all about trades. You've got to trade wisely. You got to realize that this is the composition we have. We've just got to be patient and safe. But let's see. So far, I will say that it's not too bad. It's about a 4.5k gold lead to the side of Iran, but South Africa are still in the mix here. They just got to get the disciplined game going. As Granger is in the midst of this feathered airstrike, he's going to get taunted up by the Gatto. They are going to try to throw out a couple of skills. He's trapped in here, but Tectonic Charge misses. But there's the Avatar of Guardian trying to set up, but nice dodge there from Super Shady. However, there's the takedown. Will we see the tier 2 turret being removed from the equation? Lancelot is just avoiding all the damage, but no. It's going to be Super Light who manages to achieve that kill. But Esmeralda turns around, is like, I can sustain through all of this. Manages to take down the Eve, but Super Light with the passive has dealt with. But there's Lindo with the Mountain Shocker. This is what SA needed. Can he get the second pick off? Lapo dishing out the damage. Oh my goodness, Lapo is so low here. But Lindo is as well. Which one of them are really going to go in? Is it going to be Lindo? Does he get the shot off? Yes, he does. He manages to get another pick off kill. Nice play coming in from Lindo with all the pressure that he experienced in the jungle. Now that was a pressure release. Team SA now are in position to be able to turn this game around.
That was actually very well done, especially just a few seconds before the Lord managing to give them the necessary farm that they need. They managed to go from 3k behind to only 1k behind.
Yeah,
might even be able to.
without many of the flickers, right, it's going to be difficult to contest for this. So the question is, do South Africa really go in for a full contest, or do they decide to just play it safe, maybe distract, use the wave control to do that? I mean, you can see Lancelot doing the same thing. He's just pushing the lane. He wants to try to get a little bit of control. Throws out the Thorn Rose. There's going to be the Phantom Execution. But Terizla with the penalty zone. Tectonic Charge beautifully on point. However, the Feathered Airstrike is into the mix. Eve throws out that real world manipulation. It's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange overall. And I think both teams are going to have to retreat.
Yes, it does seem so. My game actually just crashed, so I can't see the majority of the team mentioned.
Okay, we will try and sort that out in just a little bit. We're just watching Lancelot do what a Lancelot does best. He's just controlling the game through a pushing. That's what he's doing. He's just getting the waves pushed and synced out, just to make sure that as you can see here, that Iran have the numbers advantage, because I mean, you're going to be moving the South African players across the map by using this wave control. So you've got a slow push going on the top lane, you've got a slow push going on the bot lane. Now this forces South Africa to have to split up to defend. We will see this tier 2 turret being taken down by the minions. But as you can see now, South Africa has been split up, and this has created all the space that Iran needed to get into position. Wave management, wave control is so very important. But there's the engagement. Gato tanking through a lot. But it's Lapu who is chasing down the Granger, managed to get the setup. The Lord is so low. Who's going to get this? It's Lindo, who's been doing an excellent job on a killing spree there, but doesn't get close to achieving what they wanted. However, Terizla, with all that zoning away, is finally being taken down. And as you can see, Esme underneath the turret, eating up all that damage. This is going to be the Lord, but South Africa have lost 3 players in this engagement. There is no holy sheets. They were taken down, at least at this particular moment in time. The mid lane holy shield has been removed. South Africa still have 2, but we're heading towards that final 30 seconds. So the first wave, yes, might be pushed back, but once we get to the 12-minute mark, because it's so close to that, there's going to be no holy shields available at all for the side of South Africa. But they do have this one here on the top lane. Can they use it to their advantage to at least blow up that Lord? They should be able to. The shield pops. They managed to get the defense going, but they're still faster that you got to worry about with that Feathered Airstrike into the back lane. But what a penalty zone coming through. Real world manipulation to follow up. There's Father with the Feathered Airstrike. The nukes coming in here. Grok with a wall. Nicely positioned, but Iran, they turn this around. They finally managed to shut down this Lancelot. It's a 1-for-1 exchange, but South Africa will be just interested in getting the defensive game going. If they can keep this running for the next at least 3 to 4 minutes, that's where the critical moment in time is going to be. Then they're going to be able to actually drag this, and I think they might be able to win it if they can get through the next 3 to 4 minutes.
It's all going to be dependent on their defense coming in from them right now. But so far, they've actually been doing a solid job, and sending Linda for the split push there on top, just creating some uneven pressure on the lanes.
Yes, but Lindo is just going to have that high degree of escapability. He tries to get into a position, but obviously, like, this is where you need, granted, you can use a YSS to split push, right? But it's not the safest of options. You need somebody close by, at least the Terizla or the Grok, somewhere close by if you're going to extend that far. Simply because you're up against a team that has a Farsa in the mix. I mean, Farsa is just going to be able to traverse the map, and as long as you've got somebody close by to that Farsa, you're going to blow up any of the squishies. So there's then an engagement here onto the Lapo. The real world manipulation comes out as South Africa managed to get a nice setup, and they finally take down that Esmeralda who's been causing so much problems. And this is the power spike that we were talking about. The longer this game goes on, the more South Africa will come to the forefront. They'll be able to potentially get us into a game number 3. But still, as things stand, it is very much in the favor of Iran. South Africa, though, have a very important question to ask and answer. The question is, are they going to go for a contest for this next Lord? Is it going to be worth it? They are a little bit behind in gold, about 3k, so that's just around an item or so behind in terms of gold. Should they go in? Lance with that full combination, but the setup is in there. What a play from Juju with the real world manipulation. The turnaround is here. Can South Africa get something done? It's going to be a 2-for-1 exchange, and we still got the jungle. It's no retribution. South Africa are going to have to try to get into position. Ferocity is going to have to heal up. You need to Rizzler to try and frontline. Gatto is already scouting out here. He wants to use the litho. He needs to buy space for his team. Lindo is trying to get there, but his team is being zoned away. They can't get very close to this Lord to help him out. It's just Rizzler trying to frontline on his lonesome. Grok is now here into the mix as they've created the space. Lindo should be able to try to achieve this. He's got the mountain chakra, but Esmeralda is trying to chase everybody down. The feathered airstrike. They managed to get out to Juju. Oh my goodness, he gets taken down. It's going to be so close here. It's going to be a 1-for-1 exchange. Fossa into the mix once more. They're trying to get Lindo. Can Lindo secure the Lord? He does secure the Lord, but he's going to get taken down. However, it's a Lord. At what cost, though? Granger is trying to dish out the damage onto the Esmeralda. They want to force that Esmeralda away. Lance is into the mix here. And so South Africa live to fight another day. They've achieved the Lord. They could be able to take a couple of turrets with this. And with this now, the game has swung in their favor.
And that was actually beautifully done from the start when the Shady on the Granger managed to take down the Lancelot. Skills went onto the Lancelot, making sure he couldn't contest right now. And his team did a beautiful job of zoning the YSS away and his team. But South Africa managing to overcome this hurdle and actually able to get the Lord, stalling the game once again.
Yes. Well, it came down to, I would say, a little bit of ill discipline from the Lancelot. He went in thinking that they're going to have the damage output to deal. Oh, there's going to be a nice conceal play coming through here, but it's only Gatto that's going to get scouted out. He throws a little bit of a thumbs up. There's a real world manipulation into the mix. Gatto throws out the revitalize, keeping everybody safe. There's a feathered airstrike. It's Super Shady who's taken down low to half health, but everyone manages to get back to a bit of safety. Right now, I think what Iran's doing with the lane pushing is maybe what's causing a lot of the problems that they're experiencing. They need to keep the lanes free just to force South Africa out of the base and potentially get those pickoffs just to keep the numbers advantage on their side. Because the only way Iran is going to be winning the matchup right now as we're heading into any major team fight is if they have the numbers advantage. Because South African heroes, even though they took a lot of pressure in that early game, are finally starting to come online. Most players now would be close to their 5th, maybe 6th item.
So it's gonna be a bit difficult for the side of Iran to actually once again put pressure on South Africa. With South Africa being able to get the items, they also have the damage that they need right now. The Granger getting fed is gonna be able to deal with the Farsa, the Lancelot, as long as he keeps his distance as well.
Exactly. Lancelot is, is going to have to be patient to wait for those waves. Has been trying to force a couple of the plays out. Is the Lancelot AFK? Oh no. Oh, there's the Avatar of Guardian being used defensively. But it's a nice lane cut from Esmeralda, as you can see here on the top. Managing to secure at least a bit of a slow push going through as we're heading into the Lord. But there's the chase here onto this Lapu, who uses the bravest fighter defensively just to escape the attentions of the South African players. But it's South Africa. Oh, Flicker being forced out by Super Shady. Recalling from a little bit of a dangerous push as they're going in. There's going to be the engagement. Lance this time around timed it so nicely. Eve hits the real world manipulation, but the feathered airstrike is there just to zone away, and Iran timed this so nicely. I mean, this is the story. It's always a question of can you control, can you manage your waves? This slow push sets up everything. You now have the space necessary to achieve the objective, and South Africa has to be on the defense because you've got such a slow push coming through here. That amount of minions could have taken down the base even, all on their lonesome.
That is true. So that's also why it's so difficult. But Lancelot getting caught out here by the tectonic charge, and it's gonna be a 4 versus 4 when it comes to the team fight right now. And with the Linda also back up, it just gives the numbers advantage here to the side of South Africa.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, Lance has been overextending quite a bit towards this late part of the game, and South Africa has been taking advantage of this. Grok just trying to block everybody up. They want to not let this Lord charge in, but Lord is getting very, very close. We should see the charge coming through. Oh, but there's going to be the Avatar of Guardian into the backline. But can South Africa mount the defense? They've got a beautiful Grok wall in here just to take down one more. That's nicely done by them. But Lindo, he's got the wraparound. He's in that claw position. He wants to go in for the Farsa. Farsa turns it out with the nuke, and oh, does she manage to get the kill? No, but there's going to be Lindo who's going to pay the price. However, Juju throws out the real world manipulation in there as South Africa pick up yet another. It's going to be Runaway. He's in a lot of danger here, but South Africa decide to get back to defend, and this play, the play coming through there from Lindo and the conceal from Velocity is keeping South Africa in the mix here. And like I said, the longer this game goes on, the more in favor of South Africa this is going to turn.
Especially because the Lancelot keeps overextending, just like you mentioned. Every time he gets taken out, he can't really go for any of the pickoffs, can't help with the team fights, and then his team keeps failing at the team fights. South Africa is finally starting to get ahead when it comes to the items, when it comes to skills, and they even managed to get some turrets in the meantime as well.
Yeah, the gold lead has swung into South Africa's favor, but we're at that point in time where the gold lead doesn't matter. There should be another pick-off here going to the way of South Africa. However, Lance tries to go in a 1v4 situation with 30 seconds to go for the Lord. That's not where you really want to be. And so with this, South Africa just needs to be disciplined. Don't go for any more pick-offs right now. Just create the space for your team to push the lanes. As you can see, Esmeralda doing the same thing at the top. Just wants to try to get that wave push in. She's going to go for the wave cut probably. Yeah, going for the wave cut. Just going to try and distract the South Africans, pull them away from this objective. Lapu is going to be the major disruptor. He's going to get caught on lovely wall there, but it's going to be the bravest fighter. He's going to manage to catch one underneath the turret. The real world manipulation does come out. Will they be able to take out the jungler? Oh my goodness, the punctures. Yes, they do. Granger gets the kill, but he's going to get taken down. Oh, the fast fingers from Super Shady. No, it's a crowd. Tectonic charge. The setup is in there. They're trying to get onto that Granger. It's going to be South Africa with the turnaround. They have lost Lindo, but that's only a 1-for-3 exchange. Gatto is into the mix here, but South Africa, I don't think they can be able to take the Lord, not with Gatto and Esmeralda around. They're going to try to do this, but you've got that Avatar of Guardian that you really have to be worried about, and Esmeralda can sustain. You can see she's building up. South Africa have to be on the retreat. That's the unfortunate thing, is you're going to need, with Lindo dying there, they needed that little bit of extra help. And with this, Iran is going to be able to get back to a contest for this neutral objective.
True, and also with the Esmeralda having pushed out the top lane, the side of South Africa also had two reasons to go to retreat. They couldn't contest for the Lord, they had to defend the base. And with Shady being stuck a bit on the top lane right now, he can't be too quick to help them at the Lord.
Yeah, but I think he should be delayed in his timing into getting into this. He's the major source of their damage output right now. So he has to be a little bit patient. You know that they're going to be targeting him specifically. South Africa starting the Lord, Gatto just providing that little bit of vision. However, his team is not here. This is a tanky Lord. This is like the 20... beyond the 18-minute Lord, the 20-minute Lord. There's going to be Lapo taking a lot of damage, using the bravest fighter to try to disengage Gatto as well. So no Avatar of Guardian. However, Lindo is quite low, and Esmeralda, having set up that slow push once more, is making the rotation across, trying to find the right angle. Just needs a little bit of vision. Lancelot being zoned away here. Throws out the Thorn Rose, has the immortality to risk it. But Gatto and Lapo are into the mix. There's a Feather Airstrike, the Lord being reset. But this claw play coming through. Esmeralda just waiting patiently. Lance is in a lot of danger. There's the concealed play. He throws out the Thorn Roses. He does have the immortality. They're trying to chase him down as he does manage to escape for the most part. There's going to be the Thorn Rose. He's dancing through. Can he take out Lindo? It's going to be immortality that's been popped. But it's immortality for immortality. The fight is on here as Iran, they're throwing out a lot of damage. It's going to be Fasa with the Feather Airstrike. Nice wall coming in from Grok just to disrupt that. But everybody is quite low. This is going to be such a difficult fight right now. Everything hinges on what's going to happen next. But once again, it's this slow pushes that have been set up. Though South Africa have, I would say, a decent opportunity to get this done. There's Esmeralda. She's just taking care of the lanes. Just using that. Oh, but there's Gatto going to be engaged on. Doesn't have the Avatar of Guardian to escape. But all those skills have come out from South Africa, so they're going to have to be careful with their positioning here. They also have to worry about what's happening towards the base. Super Shady taking a lot of damage. It's this Esmeralda that they really have to be worried about. Lapu in the mix as well. Esme with a little bit of poke. Lance being zoned away by Charisma. Super Light doing a good job here. Lord has been set and reset. Granger has to go back to defend. The slow pushes are causing it here for South Africa. They're not being able to keep the numbers up and running in order to take advantage of that number advantage that they have. But this is still on a knife edge.
Definitely, and like you said, it all depends on what's going to happen right now, and both teams making sure to get the advantage where they can. But this Esmeralda is causing so much problems for the side of Team SA. It's really difficult to be able to deal with her and everything she's doing with the lanes.
Yes, Charisma with the penalty zone. Is this the trigger for South Africa to set up Lapu into the backline? But he's taking too much damage. Does have the immortality. Granger turning around, but the flicker comes through from Lapu. There's a real world manipulation. South Africa have created the space, but who's going to achieve the chapter? Oh my goodness, it's the Lord Steal of a lifetime from Lancelot. They did lose too, but that Lord Steal is going to keep Iran in the mix if South Africa achieved that Lord. They had everything set. But with that Lord, they could have actually managed to end the game. But right now, it's going to be difficult, especially with the Fasa and these super minions coming through.
Red team turret has been destroyed.
And with Team SA just barging down here in the mid lane, they do have the numbers advantage for a long time, but thank goodness the Farsa is there to be able to use a feathered airstrike just to zone them away.
Yeah, that's Esmeralda doing all the block here. Will we see Charisma being taken down? There's a real world manipulation into the mix here. Esmeralda, she's eating up the damage. Immortalities being popped left, right, and center. Foster does have that immortality in the backline, but South Africa, they've got an opportunity to try and put the pressure on. They got one more wave coming through with a feathered airstrike, just knocking everybody down. They're trying to get onto Granger as Esmeralda. She's just, look at the amount she's sustaining through. My goodness, she's just eating up the damage. Penalty zone comes out once more. Are they going to go in for this Charisma? No, South Africa are forced to retreat. And now the advantage is there for South Africa. They have one of the inhibitor turrets being taken down. But the continuation of this engagement, there's going to be Esmeralda uses that Winter Crown. They're chasing down here. The Lord still barreling in here. If they get a couple of pickups, this could turn around here. As South Africa did have the advantage, but the chase is on. The waves are in here. South Africa have lost 3. How are they going to defend this with just 2 marksmen? Oh my goodness.
It's actually gonna be close to impossible. If they manage to pull this off, it's gonna be miraculous. But with them being outnumbered, with this heavy Lord coming into the mix right now, Thornbrough is coming in from the Lancelot as well. Just using that Phantom Execution might get taken down. But once again, a beautiful job coming out from the side of Iran as they manage to just focus onto the base and take the match in a clean sweep.
Yeah. My goodness, they did so well. We knew the power spike was coming. They utilized the power spike. They gave us a very, very, very good second game. But unfortunately, the game has gone to in a 2-0 fashion to Iran. So well played to them, having achieved a victory here. And this is going to put South Africa in a lot of pressure come the third game. And, well, notice you know who the third game is going to be against.
I think you said it was Malaysia? Yes.
It is going to be up against Malaysia. So Malaysia is going to be that's going to be a very, very difficult matchup. But well played to the team. I mean, they gave us an excellent performance here. You've got Lucian with the MVP for the side of Iran, and Velocity with the MVP for South Africa. Those Grok walls were very annoying. He did a very good job just zoning everyone away. But, hats off, congratulations to the Iranian team picking up their first victory in this tournament so far in the WEC. South Africa, significant improvement from what we saw yesterday. And hopefully they can take this into the next stage as they'll be facing Malaysia tomorrow. So with that, the action for today has come to a conclusion. Thank you everybody for tuning in to watch. It's a pleasure as always to cast for you. Big shout out to the MSSA for allowing us or giving us the opportunity to be the South African streamers for esports matchups, and for the IESF for organizing this amazing WEC 2025 tournament, and giving us permission to showcase the South African games. We've been quite excited to be able to at least show our public what's going on the world stage. That we've got players, and as you can see, they have the potential. They just need a little bit of backing, a little bit of support, and each and every year we'll come back stronger and stronger, and hopefully one day South Africa will climb that ladder and be able to take the crown.
Definitely, especially with how we saw so much improvement. We saw how the first match was. It was a bit of a stomp, especially like we mentioned, after those first 2 minutes around the first hurdle, everything started going downhill. But with this match, they gave Iran some worry sometimes.
Yeah. They did. It's what we were talking about in the match itself. It's draft timing. When you have a draft, you have to understand when your timing for your power spikes happen to be. You have to have this like sort of a mental calculation. It's like, okay, based on how the game is going, I expect to get a particular item by a particular time. So if you're looking at, say, Terizla, for instance, you're looking at trying to complete your War Axe by the 4-minute mark, because you know that's going to be your power spike. If you're going to be like Lindo on the YSS, you're looking at your Hunter Striker. You want to try to get that Hunter Striker around 3.5 minutes. You want to get that online. So you know those are your power spike items. So everything that you're going to be doing in terms of how you're going to rotate the where you're going to move, what you want to try to do is to try to get those power spike items, because the items and that extra bit of damage and the extra bit of sustainability they give you changes the course of not just team fights, but these pick-off skirmishes. It allows you to be able to sustain through a lot. It allows you to know when to be aggressive and when not to. And it's not just that you have to know your item timing. You also need to know the enemy item timing. So you're expecting them to have certain items by a certain time, so you know they're going to have that extra bit of sustainability, that extra bit of something that's going to go with it. And at the same time, you look at the overall team composition and understand, like you're looking at South Africa versus Iran, just on the screen. You knew that Iran was going to have the early game. But as it heads towards the mid to late game, having no MM, that source of damage is not there. With South Africa, however, with the 2 strategy, there is no early game. Even if Granger makes the rotations across, even if it does make the rotations across faster than the Esmeralda, I mean, what is the damage output going to be like? It's just not there. So you're going to have to play patiently. You have to sacrifice some of the neutral objectives in order to achieve bigger objectives later on. And even though they lost that early game somewhat, it wasn't so bad. Because, I mean, you can see that even with that trading of objectives, you can lose the early game and still bring a big comeback because of the way your draft is set out.
And I would say they played very well with this draft compared to the first match as well. Because, like you said, they knew the timing. They knew everything that they had to. And even the Granger played safe for the most part of the entire game. And then even the Lancelot had to be very careful of the Granger.
Yes, exactly. But it was an exciting match. However, Lotus, we're going to have to sadly bring the stream to a conclusion. We'll be back with everybody tomorrow. Same place, same time. And so don't forget, if you're a first-time tuner, to smash that like, share, and subscribe button. And thank you all for tuning in to watch. Big shout out once again to the mssa and the IESF. Thank you for the opportunity to stream these very exciting matches. And to the viewers at home, it's going to be what? Good morning, good day, good night, depending on where in the world you are. We will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching.